November 11, 2024. Kurakhove, Donetsk Oblast. A Russian armored column moves down a dirt road. 2 T-72 tanks lead. BMP infantry fighting vehicles follow. BTR armored personnel carriers behind them. Dozens of soldiers riding on the vehicles. Their objective: capture the village of Don. Outflank Ukrainian defenses. Push toward Pokrovsk from the south. The column advances slowly, tracks churning mud, engines roaring. Russian commanders believe they have overwhelming force. 6 armored vehicles against a small Ukrainian position. They're wrong. Hidden 800 meters away, behind buildings in a nearby village, a German-made Leopard 2A4 tank waits. Ukrainian crew inside, experienced, disciplined. They've been tracking the Russian column for 10 minutes, rangefinder locked, gun stabilizer active, 120 Mitzer smoothbore cannon loaded, high explosive anti-tank round chambered. The gunner's crosshairs settle on the lead Russian tank. The commander gives one word: fire. This is WarFist TV, where we analyze the battles that change wars. Because what happened in the next 4 minutes would demonstrate why Western armor, in skilled hands, dominates the battlefield. Hit subscribe. You need to see how one Ukrainian tank destroyed an entire Russian armored column. The Leopard 2A4 is not Ukraine's newest tank. Germany first produced this variant in 1985. 40 years old, but age doesn't equal obsolescence. The Leopard 2A4 carries a Rheinmetall 120mm smoothbore gun, one of the most lethal tank cannons ever designed. Muzzle velocity, 1,650 meters per second. That's Mach 4.8. Effective range, 4,000 meters against armored targets. The fire control system includes laser rangefinder, ballistic computer, and thermal imaging. The gunner can identify and engage targets in darkness, smoke, or adverse weather. The armor protection combines steel and composite materials. Frontal armor equivalent to 700mm of rolled homogeneous steel, not invincible, but highly survivable against most threats. Ukraine's 33rd Mechanized Brigade received Leopard 2A4 tanks in 2023. The brigade immediately began modifications. They added Contact 1 explosive reactive armor, Soviet-era technology, simple but effective. When an incoming projectile hits, the reactive armor explodes outward. This disrupts the projectile before it penetrates main armor. Not perfect, but it increases survivability against RPGs and older anti-tank missiles. The 33rd Brigade also painted the tanks in Ukrainian camouflage patterns, removed some external equipment, added communication systems compatible with Ukrainian networks. These tanks became Ukrainian, operated by Ukrainian crews, fighting for Ukrainian territory. On November 11th, the 33rd Brigade defended positions near Kurakhove. The town sits at a strategic crossroads. Control Kurakhove, you threaten Pokrovsk. Pokrovsk is a critical logistics hub. Russian forces had been attempting to encircle it for months. The offensive involved daily attacks, armored assaults, infantry waves, artillery barrages. Ukrainian defenders held, but pressure was constant. Russian commanders decided on a flanking maneuver: attack the village of Don, south of Kurakhove. Outflank Ukrainian positions, force them to withdraw or risk encirclement. The plan required armor, tanks to lead, infantry fighting vehicles to suppress defensive positions, armored personnel carriers to deliver troops. The Russian column assembled that morning. 2 T-72B3 tanks, Russia's main battle tank, 125mm smoothbore gun, decent armor, combat proven. 3 BMP-2 infantry fighting vehicles, 30mm autocannon, ATGM launcher, carries 7 soldiers, 1 BTR-82A armored personnel carrier, 14.5mm heavy machine gun, transports up to 7 troops, plus a motorcycle for reconnaissance, and approximately 40 soldiers riding on the vehicles. Total force, 6 armored vehicles, 47 personnel, against 1 Ukrainian tank. Which factor gives the defender the advantage? A. Terrain knowledge, B. First shot, C. Superior optics. Comment your answer. The Russian column moved south from assembly areas. Direction: Don village. Route: dirt road running parallel to a tree line. The terrain was typical Donbass: open fields, scattered villages, tree lines marking field boundaries, elevation changes minimal, visibility excellent. Perfect killing ground for a well-positioned tank. Ukrainian reconnaissance detected the column early. Drones overhead, observers forward, information relayed to the 33rd Brigade. A Leopard 2A4 crew received orders, moved to defensive position near Dawn, Prepare to engage approaching enemy armor. The crew consisted of 4 soldiers: commander, gunner, loader, driver, each trained for months. They knew their tank. They knew their weapons. They knew their mission. The Leopard moved to position, not on the front line, behind it, in the village, using buildings as cover. The tank positioned between 2 structures. Hull down. Only the turret exposed. Fields of fire covered the dirt road, where the Russians would come. The Russian column approached at 11:47 a.m. Ukrainian drones filmed from above. The footage would later be released publicly. It shows the moment tactical excellence meets tactical incompetence. The Russians moved in tight formation, vehicles spaced 50 to 100 meters apart, infantry riding exposed on top, no dispersal, no bounding overwatch, no reconnaissance ahead, just a column driving down a road. The Ukrainian commander watched through his optics. He could see everything. Lead tank, infantry vehicles behind, personnel exposed, range 820 meters. He gave quiet orders. Gunner, acquire target. Loader, confirm ammunition loaded. Driver, stand by for movement. The gunner's thermal sight showed the Russian column in perfect clarity. Heat signatures from engines, human shapes of soldiers. The crosshairs settled on the lead T-72. The rangefinder calculated exact distance. The ballistic computer adjusted for range, temperature, wind. The gunner's finger rested on the trigger. Commander's voice, fire. Stay with me. The next 60 seconds will show why training and tactics matter more than numbers. The 120mm gun fired. The DM-53 armor-piercing, fin-stabilized, discarding sabot round left the barrel at 1,150 meters per second. The tungsten penetrator, smaller than a man's arm, crossed 820 meters in half a second. It struck the lead T-72 in the turret front. Penetration. The round punched through armor designed to stop 1970s NATO ammunition. Modern penetrators laugh at it. Inside the T-72, catastrophic damage. The penetrator passed through the crew compartment. Hydraulic fluid ignited, then the ammunition. Russian tanks store ammunition in the turret, below the gun, around the crew. When it cooks off, pressure has nowhere to go, except up. The T-72's turret lifted, explosive force throwing 10 tons of steel into the air. Flames shot from every opening. The tank was dead. Crew killed instantly. The column hesitated. 1 second, 2 seconds. Confusion. Where did that come from? The second T-72 attempted to reverse. Too late. The Leopard's loader had already chambered another round. 10 seconds from first shot. Standard reload time. The gunner acquired the second tank. Fire. Another DM-53 round. Another hit. This one struck the T-72's hull. Side armor. Weaker than frontal. The penetrator entered the engine compartment. Fuel exploded. Fire spread to the crew compartment. The tank stopped. Smoke pouring from hatches. 2 tanks destroyed in 20 seconds. The Russian infantry vehicles tried to respond. The first BMP-2 attempted to locate the Leopard. Its 30mm cannon traversed, searching. But the Leopard was behind buildings. Hull down, only turret visible. And the BMP's fire control system was inferior. No thermal sight on this model, just optical. The gunner couldn't acquire the target. The Leopard acquired him. High explosive round this time, not designed to penetrate heavy armor, but a BMP-2 has light armor, aluminum, 30mm at most. The HE round struck the BMP's turret. Explosion, the vehicle lurched, smoke, secondary explosions from its ammunition. The BMP was mission killed, maybe destroyed. The footage becomes chaotic here. Russian soldiers jumping from vehicles, running, seeking cover. The BTR-82A stopped, tried to turn around. The Leopard's gunner shifted aim. Another HE round, impact on the BTR's side. The 14.5mm ammunition inside detonated. The vehicle burned. The remaining BMPs broke formation. One attempted to escape back the way they came. The other drove toward the tree line, trying to reach cover. Ukrainian artillery engaged, not the Leopard. The 33rd Brigade's artillery, positioned kilometers away. Coordinates provided by drones. 150 pneumatic shells landed around the fleeing vehicles. One BMP took a near miss. Shrapnel shredded external equipment. The vehicle slowed, stopped. Crew abandoned it. The last BMP reached the tree line, disappeared into the forest, survived, but alone, cut off from support. Its infantry had already dismounted, running through open fields. Ukrainian drones followed. The footage shows soldiers fleeing, some seeking cover in ditches, others in the tree line. FPV drones hunted them, small quadcopters carrying explosives, cheap, effective, lethal. The drones dove, explosions among the running soldiers. Not every soldier died, but casualties mounted. The Russian attack was over. Total time from first shot to last engagement, 4 minutes. If one tank can destroy an entire column, what does that say about tactics? A. Tank quality matters. B. Tactics matter more. C. Both matter equally. Answer coming. The battlefield fell silent. The dirt road was a graveyard. 2 T-72 tanks destroyed. Turrets blown off. Hulls burning. 3 BMP infantry fighting vehicles destroyed or disabled. 1 BTR armored personnel carrier destroyed. 1 motorcycle. And approximately 47 Russian soldiers. Some killed in the vehicles. Others cut down fleeing. Some wounded. A few escaped. The 33rd Mechanized Brigade reported the results. 47 enemy soldiers eliminated. 2 tanks destroyed. 1 BTR destroyed. 3 BMPs destroyed. 1 motorcycle destroyed. Ukrainian losses, 0. 1 Leopard 2A4 tank, 0 casualties. The tank didn't even take return fire. The engagement demonstrated several tactical realities. First, positioning matters more than mobility. The Leopard never moved during the engagement. It didn't need to. Positioned correctly, with fields of fire covering the enemy approach, it controlled the battlefield. The Russians moved into a pre-registered kill zone. They never had a chance. Second, concealment defeats reconnaissance. The Russians knew Ukrainian forces defended Dolny, but they didn't know where. They didn't know a Leopard tank waited in the village. Russian drones should have spotted it. But Ukrainian electronic warfare disrupted Russian drone operations. Or Russian reconnaissance was lazy. Either way, they drove blind into an ambush. Third, superior fire control systems are decisive. The Leopard's thermal sights acquired targets at 800+ meters in daylight. The gunner could see heat signatures from engines and personnel. The Russian tanks had optical sights, inferior in every way. The BMP-2s had no thermal capability at all. They were fighting half-blind against an enemy who saw everything. Fourth, crew training is everything. The Ukrainian gunner fired, reloaded, acquired new target, fired again in 20 seconds. Textbook. The loader worked smoothly. The commander coordinated with artillery. The driver kept the tank stable. Professional execution. Russian crews panicked. Vehicles stopped in the open. No attempt to suppress the threat. No smoke. No coordinated response. Just confusion and death. The Leopard 2A4's technical advantages were clear. The 120mm gun outranged anything the Russians had. DM-53 ammunition penetrated Russian armor easily. The fire control system allowed accurate shooting at extended range. The armor protection kept the crew safe. But technology alone doesn't win battles. Ukrainian tank crews train constantly. They study Western doctrine, fire and maneuver, overwatch positions, covering fields of fire. They understand how to use terrain, how to position for maximum advantage, how to integrate with artillery and drones. Russian doctrine is different. Russian tanks advance en masse, overwhelming the enemy with numbers, but this requires combined arms coordination. Infantry clearing threats, artillery suppressing defenses, air support providing cover, engineers clearing obstacles. At Dolny, the Russians had none of this. Just a column driving down a road, expecting to reach the objective unmolested, meeting a prepared defense that destroyed them in minutes. The strategic context matters here. November 2024 was difficult for Ukraine. Russian forces advanced in Donetsk, slow, costly, but advancing. Pokrovsk was threatened, Kurakhove under pressure. Ukrainian forces fought defensive battles daily. Ammunition shortages limited artillery fire. Manpower shortages stretched units thin. Every victory mattered. The engagement at dawn stopped a Russian flanking attempt. It killed 47 Russian soldiers, destroyed 6 armored vehicles. It forced Russian commanders to reconsider tactics, and it demonstrated that Ukrainian forces equipped with Western armor could win decisively against numerically superior enemies. The psychological impact extended beyond the immediate battlefield. Russian soldiers saw the video. They knew the footage came from Ukrainian drones. They saw their comrades die. They learned that advancing in columns gets you killed. That Ukrainian tanks, even a single one, can destroy your entire unit. That Western armor is superior. Answer: C. Both matter equally. Tank quality and tactics both matter. The The Leopard 2A4 is objectively superior to the T-72. Better gun, better armor, better fire control. But without proper tactics, even superior equipment fails. The Ukrainian crew used terrain. They achieved surprise. They positioned for optimal fields of fire. They coordinated with artillery and drones. They executed professionally. Technology provided the tools. Tactics provided the victory. Think about the economics. One Leopard 2A4 costs approximately $5 million. Germany donated them to Ukraine. One DM-53 round costs $10,000. The tank fired perhaps 5 rounds, cost $50,000 in ammunition. Total Ukrainian investment in this engagement, $50,000 in ammunition. 0 equipment losses, 0 casualties. Russian losses, 2 T-72 tanks at $2 million each, about $4 million, 3 BMPs at $500,000 each, now $1.5 million, 1 BTR at $300,000, $300,000. Equipment total, $5.8 million, plus 47 trained soldiers. Each Russian contract soldier costs approximately $30,000 annually in salary, training, equipment. 47 soldiers represent $1.4 million in human capital investment. Total Russian loss, $7.2 million for a 4-minute engagement. That's $1.8 million per minute. This is why Ukraine requested Western armor, not because Ukrainian crews can't fight. They proved they can with Soviet-era tanks, but because Western armor multiplies their effectiveness. A T-64 crew might have engaged this column, they might have destroyed some vehicles, but they would have been at greater risk. The T-64's gun has shorter effective range. Its armor is thinner. Its fire control is less sophisticated. The crew might have taken casualties. The tank might have been damaged or destroyed. The Leopard 2A4 allowed complete victory. 0 friendly losses, maximum enemy casualties. Was this engagement typical? No. Most tank battles are not this one-sided. Russian forces learn. They adapt. They avoid obvious kill zones. They use artillery more effectively. They coordinate infantry and armor better. But this engagement represents what's possible when Ukrainian forces have proper equipment, when they use proper tactics, when they fight on ground they know against enemies who don't. The result is decisive victory. The 33rd Mechanized Brigade has fought throughout the war, from defensive battles in 2022 to offensive operations in 2023 to defensive operations again in 2024. They've used T-64 tanks, T-72 tanks, now Leopard 2 tanks. They've adapted to Western equipment quickly. The German Bundeswehr trained Ukrainian crews on Leopard 2 operation and maintenance. The training took weeks, not months. Ukrainian tankers were already experienced. They just needed to learn new systems, new procedures. The fundamentals remain the same. Identify enemy, maneuver to advantage, engage effectively, survive. The Leopard 2A4 makes all of these easier. Should Ukraine have defended Kurakhove differently? Could Russia have avoided this disaster? What would you have done as Russian commander? Comment your tactical analysis below. If you believe training defeats numbers, type WarFist TV in the comments. Your engagement shares this breakdown with people studying armored warfare, because this engagement will appear in tank tactics textbooks. Subscribe to WarFist TV. We analyze the battles that define modern warfare. The dirt road near Dawn is quiet now. The destroyed vehicles were eventually towed away. The bodies recovered. But the lesson remains. In modern warfare, a single, well-positioned tank with a trained crew and superior technology can defeat an entire armored column. Numbers mean nothing without tactics. Equipment means nothing without skill. The Russians drove into an ambush. They paid with 47 lives and 6 vehicles. The Ukrainians executed perfectly. They lost nothing. That's not luck. That's professional military competence. That's what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Stay vigilant.